Hey guys, it's Alpha Nerd. Let's make learning simple. Today we are going to learn about callback. Before getting into the video, let's see what are the topics we are going to cover in this video. First of all, what is callback and why do we need a callback at all? And a demo showcasing how to use a callback in our code and the most predominant use cases of callback. And finally, few callback perks. Let's start with what is callback. Before understanding what a callback is, let's see what a higher order function is. A function that accepts other function as an argument is said to be the higher order function. For instance, if we take a look at this example, getData is said to be the higher order function since it accepts function 1 and function 2 as an argument. That being said, let's see what a callback is. A function passed to another function as an argument to execute after the outer function's completion is said to be the callback. In the same example, if we take a look, function 1 and function 2 are said to be the callback functions since they are passed as an argument to the getData and which will be executed after the getData's original contents are executed. Next, let's see why do we need a callback. JavaScript usually works in a top-down approach, that is synchronous manner. To get a clear picture of this, let's take a look into a sample program. First, let me walk you through the program. We have a start statement, variable initialized to an empty string, and a function sample which has setTimeout function which will be called after 2 seconds. Inside the setTimeout function, we are changing the variable's content into some data. Is function call and a console statement to display the content of the variable with the received message, and finally end statement. The expected output of this program would be start, some data received, and end. But the actual output we have got here is start, received, and end. As you can see, the content of the data variable is still an empty string. It is not yet changed to some data. That is, the console log statement has executed before the sample function could get completed. This is how the program would behave in a synchronous nature. But the expected output is different. We need some data received message. That is, the console log has to execute only after the sample function completes its execution. This is where the callback helps. Now let's see how to solve this situation using a callback. We have modified the previous sample program a little bit. As you can see, the statement console log which has to be executed after the sample function statement is written inside a function after function, and this after function is passed as an argument to the sample function call. As you can see and previously said, sample here is an higher order function since it accepts a function as an parameter, and after function that is being passed as an argument to the sample function is the callback function, and this callback function is called inside the sample function's definition after the sample function's original execution statements, so that this will be executed, that is, the console log will be executed only after the data variable data has been changed. So as you can see in the output here, first we have got start statement and then some data received, so that the data variable here holds the value some data instead of the empty string. This proves that console log has been executed only after the function sample completed. So that's how callback has solved our requirement. Now we have a clear idea what is the callback, why do we need, what is the problem in the current system, and how does the callback solves it. So that being learned, let's see what are the predominant use cases of the callback. It's event handling and the API request. We are very well know that JavaScript is a event-driven programming language. As you can see in this example, we have a button here with an ID click me and a text click me. To handle the click event of this button, we are using the add event listener. The add event listener takes the first argument as the event and the second argument as a callback function. The callback function holds what has to be done once the button is being clicked. The second predominant use case of an callback is the API request. As you can see in this example, we are making a fetch request which might take some seconds to respond back. So the codes that depends on the response has to be executed after the fetch is completed. So we are wrapping the code that depends on the response inside a function and passing that function as an argument to the fetch request. So here the callback makes sure that these codes will be executed only after the fetch is completed. Now let's see few callback perks. The first one is anonymous function. Callback need not to be a named function always. It can be an anonymous one, and it can be a arrow function too. And we can pass more than one callback functions to a higher order function. The next is error first callback. Callback usually takes error object as the first argument. When there are no error at all, the argument will be passed as a null. The second argument is any successful data. Usually the callback always takes error as the first object and hence the name error first callback. The next one is callback hell. When we have too many callbacks nested, there are a lot of chances that we might get lost in it. It becomes very difficult to debug and it is most probably erroneous. As you can see in this example, function A has callback function 1, which in turn has function B and it accepts callback function 2 and so on. And you know what? Worse than a callback hell, not fixing it. We can fix this callback hell issue using the promise that we can see in another video. We have reached the end of the session, guys. It's Alpha Nerd signing off. If you have any queries, please do comment in the comment box and subscribe to our channel, like and share. Thank you.